Welcome back to my channel. It has been a long time. It has been a very long time since I've done a sit down one-to-one, and my promise is this is the year that I will churn out a video as often as possible. So talking of New Year's resolutions, this is a video where I want to talk to you guys who have said, that's it, I want to bake for a living. This is my dream, this is my job, this is what I should be doing with my life. How the hell do I start? How do I get there? How do all these amazing people online seem to be doing it? They seem to make it look so easy. And I'm gonna let you know. Number one, it's not easy. It is not easy at all. But yeah, you get there, you learn, and that is what this video is about, is just how I started, and let's just walk through it. I feel like I'm rambling, so let's just jump in. So a bit about my story. It was 2013 going on to 2014. Over the Christmas period, where you have that time when you're not at work anymore and you start thinking about your life, and then you realize you're going back to work soon and you're like, I don't want to go back. I don't want to do this anymore. And that was me, and I bet so many people are in that situation right now. I just wasn't fulfilled in my job. I had that Sunday dread every Sunday and I was miserable. I was miserable all the time. I wasn't a nice person. I was so unhappy. It wasn't a creative role. The people I worked with were lovely. They were really lovely. Awesome team. But I just wasn't being creative, and I didn't like getting up early in the morning. I'll be honest, I wanted to work for myself. I wanted to wake up when I was ready. So yeah, that's how I kind of, you know, it was churning and churning, and I was getting more and more down, and it just got to breaking point, and I was like, I have to make a change. And I realized I wanted to make cakes purely from planning my own wedding. And I was looking at all these books because we didn't have Instagram, so we used to buy books. Sounds very archaic now, but yeah, we used to buy books. And I looked in those books, and that was where I got my inspiration. And then thank God for Pinterest, because Pinterest existed, and that was it. I was going crazy for ideas, but these things were all very new, you know, these social media platforms. And I just was amazed that you could make like edible lace and sequins, and you know, it was just stunning. So I really thought, this is perfect for me. It's creative, it's a low setup to a low startup cost, and you can work from home. Perfect. And that's how it is in the UK. So I know in different countries it might be a bit different, but here it's pretty easy to set up and work from home, providing you've done all your hygiene, etc. I might talk about that now, I might talk about that in a later video. Just pop the comments below and I can always give you more information on that. So anyway, so that was me, that was kind of where I was heading. And you know, a few months later, going into the new year, 2014, I handed in my notice. Okay, this is a big important thing. I did not have a mortgage and I did not have rent to pay. I live with my mum, so I didn't have these bills. What I did have to sacrifice was where I was heading with my partner. So we were engaged, we were saving, we were trying to get a mortgage, and I was so desperately low that I didn't even care. It was in my head, I was like, you know, I don't want to keep this job and then get a home and then have to go to that job every day to pay for this home that I'm never really in, because I get home so late. And it just seemed really pointless. I just wasn't enthusiastic about it anymore. And even I think our relationship wasn't great. It wasn't wonderful. It wasn't as happy as it used to be, because my mood just stank. It was rubbish. So it got to breaking point, and I was only 23. How old was I? 24. I was only 24. And I just thought, okay, that's it. I just have to do this. I have to just throw the towel in at my job and just go for it. So that is what I did. But I understand that I am talking from a very privileged position in that sense. Everyone's different, and if you already have bills to pay, rent and mortgage, you can't just leave your job. I get that. So my advice to you is, if you really are serious about baking full-time or as much as possible, instead of giving yourself the goal of, oh, I'm going to come home and I'm going to practice baking, I'm going to do it on the weekends, book courses, just do classes, because it's exhausting coming home and then trying to do another job or trying to bake. I really think get as good as possible. So the minute that you're like, right, I'm so good and I'm going to be so in demand, or I am so in demand that I don't need my job anymore because I'm going to make enough from all the bookings that I'm getting, it's easy to leave where you are and go into that and make that transition. It is very, very hard to put all that pressure on yourself and literally leave a job that's paying you a salary and be like, right, I'm going to make everything with this new business. Overnight successes are very rare, very, very rare. So I think take the pressure off of yourself and just have that goal in mind. So even if you're unhappy at work, maybe find another job that might be a bit easier and happier, and maybe if you don't get on with the team, then, you know, find somewhere where you're happier, and then have a plan for starting your baking career. If you're not in a position where you can just go, right, I'm gonna do it and I've got tons of savings. I didn't have tons of savings, but you might have tons of savings, and you can just, you know, spend all your leisure time learning how to bake and being amazing at it. So that's my first story, how I jumped in, how I got into it. And again, everyone's story is very different, but I just wanted to be pretty honest about mine. That's how I did it. Now, the first 3 years were a bit crazy. The first 3 years, okay, so let's see. Let's talk about how it kind of organically happened for me. So I told everyone I was leaving at work, and then very kindly the CEO, no, it wasn't the CEO, I don't remember his position, so I really hope he's not watching. One of the people I worked with ordered a cake from me. He was like, right, I'm going to give you your first order. And then someone else was like, I'm going to give you your first order. So it was very sweet. And I made their cakes for them. And they weren't the most perfectly decorated. One had a misspelling of birthday. I missed out the R. So this is just giving you a picture of how it started for me. But they tasted good. Everyone was happy with how my cakes tasted. So that was perfect. It was like, okay, first of all, these cakes need to taste amazing. I can work on the decorating and my terrible spelling, because I don't know how I missed that out. So that's what I did. And then my neighbour knew I was baking, so they really kindly supported me and ordered a cake. And these were very small amounts of money. They weren't much at all. And I built my website, which was very basic. I think I used Wix, WordPress, because it was free. So I used WordPress and I did a little website on my own that was very basic, and I just kept making cakes. I just kept practicing, and I did some online courses. I had actually done some proper professional courses that I'd saved up for and paid for whilst I was working, so I definitely recommend that. Just courses, practice, and go and work directly with professionals. Like, if there is someone whose work you just think is phenomenal and you know that you can go and learn with them, save up and go and learn from them directly. Like, why not? I mean, I went and I paid for a course with Faye Cahill, and my mind was blown, because I'd been baking for a good few years before that, and then it just took my cakes to another level. Her stuff was so flawless, so neat. She used ganache under her cakes, or her icing. I didn't use ganache, I used buttercream. Ganache, genius. So you will learn things that will just make your life so much easier, and it will move you up the pay scale like 100 times quicker as well. So it always, yeah, just practicing, getting the odd order from friends and family. And then we were moving house. We were in like London and we were moving down to Kent, and I was like, I need to do a wedding fair, because I knew I wanted to do weddings. So I made some dummy cakes, and my piece of advice is just look at every single cake that's trending on Pinterest and just make something very similar. People might say, don't copy designs, don't do that. But I'm going to be honest, everyone does it. Like, I've had my cakes copied by other bakers and I'm not offended. I mean, I really am not. It's a compliment. The thing is, okay, if it was a baker who literally lived or worked down the road, then damn, that's annoying. But if it is someone who's in a completely different region or country or county to you, then what does it matter? You can't serve their client. You're not in the same location. So if their client sees your cake and says, please can you make this design, just let them make it, man. I mean, like, that's my opinion. I just think, you know, may I tweak it a bit, make it a bit different, but I just think there's so many bakers out there now, there's so many resources, and anyone that is at the top of their game rarely is offended if someone else kind of like remakes their cake. It's never going to be exactly the same, because what makes your cakes very special is you are the artist. You are handcrafting it, your hands are making that cake. You can go on a course, all be taught by the same person how to make the same cake, and everybody's cake will actually look slightly different because you're making it. So that's another thing. So I would just say, just find the trending cakes and just make stuff that's similar, because that's gonna be what couples are looking for. They want to see stuff that they've seen online and walk past your stand, and that's what you have. And my stand was so basic. So I did the Blue Water wedding fair that we had here, and I'd never even really been to a wedding fair. I went to one, but I didn't really pay much attention to the backdrop. So I just had the shell, which was like the frame of my little unit. We didn't have anything on the walls. I barely had any tables. I didn't have anything fancy. It didn't look nice, it didn't look pretty. I just put up some like paper bunting and some paper lanterns, and it was so basic. Like, it was so basic, but I did really well because I had cakes out that people really liked. I had like the birch tree cake that everyone was into, and I swear, like, that was how my business really started to do well. I don't know how many tree cakes I have made. That did incredibly well. People loved the tree, and I had cake samples, so I was handing out loads of cake samples, and my prices were low. They were like, I couldn't charge a lot because I hadn't even made many wedding cakes. I'd made one wedding cake, so I couldn't like charge much more because I wasn't great at what I was doing. Yeah, I wasn't that confident, so I just charged what I thought at the time was my worth, and it was like, okay, you're gonna pay and that's what you get. And it was fantastic. Like, I put a ton of effort in. I really, customer service, I was like the best I could be, you know. I really knew I had to prove myself, so I was, you know, as on the ball as possible, super efficient, super polite, you know, kept in contact with people, went over and beyond with everything I did, and that really helped. And then that got things rolling because I started doing weddings, I was learning on the job, and the more I did, the more exposure I got. Then I just started signing up to free wedding vlogs where they advertise for you, etc. Now the amazing thing is, Instagram was just popping up. I can't even remember, maybe it was like 2015 I think, and I just started using Instagram. The benefit now is that anyone who's starting out, you have an Instagram account. I mean, it's just free advertising, which is amazing. So you'll have it a lot easier now if you want to start selling cakes. You know, you've got all that exposure, you have all that exposure on Facebook and, you know, other social media platforms. So just really go for it and use those. Okay, so I hope this video might be a bit rambly. It's just me trying to share as much as possible in how things kind of worked out for me and how I got there. So my next piece of advice is to not be so hard on yourself and don't compare. I think comparing yourself to what other people are doing really can delay your progress. So try and stay off Instagram, which is so stupid because you're advertising. But what I'm trying to say is, make your cakes, post them on Instagram, and, you know, yes, try and interact with other people, other suppliers, so other people in the wedding or baking industry, and people who are local to you, so they're local businesses. Get in contact with local businesses, make sure you have that you know, repertoire with them. I hope that's the right word. I'm going to sound like a complete idiot. I think it repertoire with these other businesses. So, you know, that will help more people find you. But do not sit there scrolling looking what everyone is doing. Like, don't start looking at, oh, this business is doing that and that business is doing that, and maybe I should make brownies, and maybe I should make cookies, and maybe I should make macarons. Like, do not do it, because it will really mess you up, and it will mess your business up. I've made so many mistakes from not sticking to one path. So really, like, if you're gonna make cakes, just get really good at making cakes. Just make those cakes, make drip cakes, make birthday cakes, make your wedding cakes, and just stick to that. And then when your customers start requesting things, so when your customer says, hey, can you make cookies, do you make brownies, look if it is feasible for you to even bother offering. So there's stuff that I probably didn't offer, and then it was requested so often that I was like, right, I'll learn how to make it. My biggest thing has been the croquembouche tower. I had one person ask for it. I was like, sure, I'll figure it out. I learned how to do it, and so many people now will ask, and probably because I don't think a lot of people locally make them, because they are highly stressful. So that was my thing, when it was like, it was so worth me learning how to make it. But there will be other things like macarons. Rarely do I make them. They are very time consuming, they take a long time, they're a little bit expensive to make, and people don't ask for them that much. So I'm not going to spend my time from where I live in my area looking at someone on Instagram and going, oh my gosh, but they make macarons, I need to do it too. No, I don't. No one's asking me to make them. So I really think that's so important. It's just stick to one thing and just be really, really good at it before you kind of start diversifying and going into anything else, because you will never get there. You'll never get there, and you will never make it in what you set out to do. You'll just be off on different tangents, and then you'll end up going, what am I doing? Nothing's working, because you're all over the place. So honestly, it's okay to say no. It's okay to say, no, I don't make that. I don't make those right now, maybe in the future. That is okay. You know, you're not going to lose a ton of business from it. You know, you'd be better just getting really good at one thing. So that's my advice for now. I probably could go on forever, but I mean, I will save you guys the time and energy. But I just really hope, as a kind of start out to the new year, and if you're really considering going into baking, I just hope this is like really, really sound advice and a bit of a background into like a real life story of how I've done it. And yeah, I'm not necessarily where I thought I was going to be at this point in time with my business, but I'm okay with that, you know. And it's okay to be happy with the salary you're getting for now. For my sake, for my family, I have a little boy. I'm not desperate to be running a business that is like on TikTok and people are like swarming through the doors and they want my brownies and my biscuits and all of that. Like, I'm okay with not having that. That's stressful. I don't want to get up crazy hours in the morning right now while also having a toddler and trying to, you know, keep him alive. So, you know, it's fine. I think that's a really important thing as well. It's just to try and also be happy where you are. Honestly, like, life can change in an instant. It happens for me. A lot of things have changed, and since I've had my little boy, like, my business has been way better, and because of my mentality has changed massively. And that is a really big reason why I wanted to do this video today and have a real like sit down talk, because I think I'm in a much better place to pass on advice to anyone who's in a bit of a rut at the moment, because I've kind of gone through it and I'm on the other side, and I'm like, okay, this is what's important, this is how to work efficiently as a business, and you will get there. You know what, everyone's journey might be a bit messy, it's going to be different, but if you just stick the course, you will get there. You know, you've obviously got something in you that's really special and talented. If you're being called to do anything, you know, maybe creative for a living, there's something in you that if that little voice won't stop telling you like you need to do something different or you need to pursue this, then listen to it. So yeah, anyway, there we go, that's my advice. And happy new year to everyone. I hope you all had a really good New Year's and Christmas, and for anyone who had a bit of a rubbish one, ours was a little not my favourite. You know, I'm sorry, and I hope things get better for you this year. I know things are really hard for a lot of people right now, and just stay positive. A really big thing I want to do this year is be very honest in just, you know, baking and my story and just how things are, because it's not all glossy and easy, but we're still standing, so it's good, it's positive, we're still here, we're still healthy, and everything's great. So there we go. Thank you for watching. Please comment below. I've had some amazing comments from people lately that's been just so deadly sweet, like so sweet, and it is the reason I'm back on here doing this with messy hair and, you know, just on here rambling, because I feel super encouraged by really kind people who have been like, hey, you know, we think you have something good to say, and that felt nice. So I thought, right, well, I'm gonna talk a lot, so you might regret messaging me now telling me to continue. But anyway, thanks a lot. I will be back with just more baking stuff soon. I'm gonna kind of go through the basics, especially just to starting out. So yeah, if you're definitely at the beginning of your journey, keep following, subscribe and press the little bell, because I'm gonna literally like go right back to basics and put all the content out there that I really wish was there when I started out. So for you guys, it should just be super easy. Anyway, happy new year, thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.